Man, that's smart.
So I gotta say, by far the most popular videos that I do on this channel seem to be this troubled YouTuber, Benny Pepino. So here we go, new segment on the program, this week in Pepino. The first video we're gonna look at, he's, I don't know, droning on about some soccer crap or something. Here we go.
The U.S. women's national soccer team, the other day, they took a knee before their game with Sweden. In fact, the Swedish team also took a knee.
Okay, cool. So we're tackling the big topics here.
You have a mental health problem.
We're tackling the really huge topics here. Still on the knee stuff. We're still worked up about the knee stuff. I thought this would just be fun to look up because this is all about the national anthem. They're kneeling during the national anthem. We're all foamed up and pissed off about this. I never really thought to look this up because who cares? Because this is a stupid non-issue. But I was just like, hey, for fun, I'll just look this up. What's the average length of the national anthem at like an NFL game or whatever? 1 minute, 55 seconds. So we're really pissed off. Our pants are just foamed to the brim because of a 1 minute and 55 second crap. Okay, whatever.
They took a knee before their game with Sweden. In fact, the Swedish team also took a knee, all to protest racism. The rolling R just gets longer and longer these days because there is so much racism.
He's done this before, this rolling R thing, and I die laughing every time so hard. I laugh so hard that I soil myself when he does that. I mean, who's he got punching up these insufferable monologues? He got Patton Oswalt in there punching this crap up. You got Russell Peters in there. Takes a break from his, stadiums that he plays to punch this up because there's no way he came up with this gold on his own. It's just too funny. Who'd you get? Chris D'Elia to do some of this comedy? Maybe Bill Cosby? You get Bill Cosby in there? I think Ben Shapiro should actually like change his whole vibe because he's so funny to like a sort of Andrew Dice Clay that like Benny, like he should do a character like Benny the Dice Man Shapiro where he comes out with like a big leather jacket, like a big oversized leather jacket. He's in front of a brick wall instead of his usual set. And he just riffs on crap. He's like, oh, about these trans people or whatever, whatever it would do.
So they took a knee, as they always do, before their games because America sucks. But don't worry, America sucks and they're representing America. So I just have a general objection to the idea that you kneel for the national anthem and that you kneel before your games to protest how much your country blows, and then you represent your country. Nope.
So this video in just a couple days has over 750,000 views, and it's because of airtight arguments like this. If you take part in a sports team, you should not express disapproval, any kind of disapproval, for the area from which that team exists. So let's just say that a guy supports teams, not just one team, but multiple teams in, I don't know, let's say Chicago, like the Chicago Bears and the White Sox and the Blackhawks. If you're just listening to this, there's a tweet on the screen from this guy that says his favorite sports teams are mostly Chicago teams. So you support this team, I guess that means you better fall your little ass in line with everything that goes on in Chicago, right?
Chicago implodes as Mayor Lori Lightfoot raises the bridges. Chicago has now announced, their police department just announced that they're changing their policy with regard to foot pursuits. Okay, what is their new policy with regard to foot pursuits? You want to talk about allowing criminality to flourish? So the Chicago's Teachers Union has suggested that they are not going to go back to work. In fact, they're currently engaged in what most legal interpreters believe is an illegal strike.
Chicago, my kind of town. Chicago, my kind of town. To quote the great Franklin Sinatra, Chicago is my kind of town.
But the most important part of this whole thing, right?
No.
The most important part of this is that this whole knee thing is still super. This is the top shit, man. This is the top stuff, man. The knee, taking a knee thing in these sporting events, taking the knee is so... I wake up every morning and I'm so pissed off about it that I look at my knees and I go, you piece of shit. Why do you even exist? Because it makes me think of the knee stuff in the sports.
The U.S. women's national soccer team, the other day, they took a knee before their game with Sweden. In fact, the Swedish team also took a knee.
So the USA lost to Sweden in this soccer competition. And the title to this Pepino video says, "The US women's soccer team loses badly after kneeling for BLM at Olympic opener." But you just said that they both knelt. So how does this title make sense exactly? Ooh, that's a real noodle scratcher. Shouldn't it be both teams knelt? They played a soccer game, and then one team won and one team lost. Welcome to the show. I'll rework the title for this guy, actually. All soccer teams take knee. Game concludes with a winner of said game.
I think the U.S. women's national soccer team making the statement that America is horrible and systemically racist and terrible when they have become rich and famous for playing a sport that literally no one watches outside of the World Cup. They've tried several times to create a sustainable women's soccer league in the United States. It has never been particularly sustainable. It has survived on subsidies. That is pretty much all.
Couple things here. Couple notes here. That's the kind of attitude I like to do on this show. Couple notes here. Very Bill Maher. First, it's kind of funny that he's talking about subsidies to survive with the amount of money that's pumped into the Daily Wire from the beginning. The millions of dollars that have been pumped into this stupid piece of crap, unwatchable piece of crap. There's literally an ad on this video that I watched to make this video on the Daily Wire. Yeah, that guy Mikey Knowles, he's just such a compelling entertainer.
There are a lot of other problems in this country. You know, killing babies that can suck their own thumb, that seems like a big problem. You know, of forcing people to take experimental drugs if they're not at great risk of a virus, shutting down the whole country, shutting down our churches.
He's really mastered the craft, that guy. He's solely getting the views and the follows, not from the hundreds of thousands of dollars in ads that are being pumped. And I literally got another ad when I searched for this. It has nothing to do with that. It's raw talent. It's raw talent, dog. That's raw talent, bro. Also, for God's sake, you know, I hate to make fun of her because she seems like she's doing her best, I guess. But for God's sake, classically Abby, the person who maybe they gave up on the ads with that, but hundreds of thousands of dollars easy with ads to try to get classically Abby's career going, try to get some traction on that. She got some follows, you know, she got a few follows, but I would ease up on these people get subsidies.
That America is horrible and systemically racist and terrible when they have become rich and famous for playing a sport that literally no one watches outside of the World Cup.
But also, what in the F does this have to do with anything? In the next breath, and in literally probably hundreds, at least tens of videos, he's talking about like the woke NBA and all this crap. He's talking about how the NBA is, look at the NBA has like some Black Lives Matter thing or something. I think the NBA is doing just fine. I think they're doing just fine. So what's this non sequitur here? Oh, they get subsidies and no one watches it. No one likes it. I really like this because it's spastic enough to almost be charming. Because he's just like, hey, look, I know you want to hear, hey, dumb audience who I talk down to. I know you want to hear these people are idiots because you're on some weird, reactionary crap. Look how bad they are. They suck. That's pretty much it. I mean, you could just, like, why not save whoever writes these insufferable monologues? Why not just save the time and just come out and say, everyone sucks except for you, person watching this? I mean, they would like that equally as much, and it saves everyone a lot of time. I mean, look, we got to face it. We got a lot of people out there, many of them who love Benny Pepino, who, you know, they're walking around with 10-pound dipes. Their dipes are sagging a little bit. Okay? They're pretty pissed off. They're technically, age-wise, they're adults. Technically. But running nose, snotty nose, food on the white shirt, want to watch Frozen for the 400th time. That's what we are dealing with. Okay?
No.
You're kind of like a snotty faced bitch.
Exactly.
I don't want cowards teaching my kids.
Right, and
I don't want kids teaching my cowards.
Very, exactly. Adam Carolla gets it. Let's do some real, actual comedy content on this channel. The reason Sweden beat the USA in that soccer match, is because their goal was so tiny because it was all boxed up into a little tiny box that you had to put together with little wrenches, like IKEA. You know, IKEA, I have to say, in all honesty, you know, we goof around on this channel a lot, but I do want to say this seriously about IKEA. Their treat section is actually pretty underrated. Pretty underrated. Very good sparkling juices. That's one. Two, very good weird little sweet treats. Weird cookies, weird chocolate bars. You're probably going to say to me, what about the meatballs? We know about that. That's been covered. Okay? So we're not going to go there, girlfriend. I still say that as well.
Stuff. I gotta say, I'm rooting pretty hard against the U.S. women's national soccer team because I don't think they are patriotic. Okay? Just because they wear the flag does not make them patriotic. So what you get from the left is, oh, so you want the U.S. to lose? No, I want the U.S. to win by having people who are unpatriotic lose.
Yeah, but homie, you just said that the other teams are kneeling too.
Just before their 90-minute contest on Wednesday morning, the British women's soccer team knelt alongside their Chilean opponents. So this has now become like a worldwide thing. All of the teams are kneeling. Great.
So they'd be losing to unpatriotic teams too, I guess. Look, take a break. Take a break, buddy. You don't need to upload a video every day. Take a break. You know, go to IKEA, get a sparkling pear juice, walk around, look at the rugs, take a day off, and get that noodle together, maybe. Or maybe it's maybe it needs more serious help, you know?
And you kneel for the national anthem, and you think the American flag stands for racism and bigotry and homophobia, and then somebody is stupid enough to give you an American jersey to wear.
Man, strong words from Benjamin J.J. Pepino here. Instead of instead of picking players based on their athletic ability, their athletic merit, or whatever you want to call it, you should give them a jersey, quote unquote, based on their politics. Uh-oh. Whoops. Uh-oh.
What? Fuck the games!
It's amazing who's considered a victim in American society these days. Truly. Not the person who is working two jobs and is poor and is being harmed by outside forces. Not that person.
You gotta hand it to this sweet boy right here. You gotta hand it to my sweet little boy right here.
What?
He's really sticking up for the guy who works two jobs. This is what these soccer players are doing, things that slight the person who has to work two jobs. Mr. Against the minimum wage. Does not think there should be a minimum. I'm standing up for the people who have to work two jobs. Also, I don't believe that they should be paid more. Actually, I believe they should be paid like even less. Legally allowed to be paid even less. What? Uh-oh. You might wonder, like, how can this person and a lot of people like this on YouTube hold these conflicting nonsensical... They don't. This is a phony baloney. It's nonsense. What's all this crap in the background, too? Really, there's one thing I want to do. I won't do this, okay? This is imagination, okay? Like Willy Wonka talked about in that film, that documentary about him from the 70s. I would like to, I won't, but I will like to go into Benny Pepino's studio and kick all that stuff off the wall, okay? If, like, Jeff Bezos spent all this money or whatever on the rocket ship and all this stupid crap to go up there and goof around in space, I would spend a decent amount of money. I'd pay the Daily Wire because they'll do anything for money. I'll give them the money. I'll be like, all I want to do is 1 hour in your studio. I get to kick everything off those fake shelves. So this next video, what is this, from June 30th? I mean, this is a thing. This goes back to that thing of like, they're subsidizing all this crap. I got this one as an ad. I got the thumbnail for this as an ad above all the other YouTube videos when I was searching on this crap. And the title, and this was in the thumbnail too, here it is. For the sexual left, confusion is the point. Where's the other one?
Female pleasure.
Ew, little pervert. The sexual left. I mean, I was trying to think like, that could actually mean something, the sexual left. It would mean like sex workers, right? Like the sex workers who think that sex work should be like unionized and regulated in a way that would make it safer for them, probably. That would be the sexual left, right? I watched a little bit of this video and it was so boring. It's about trans people or something. But of course it's so boring. It's insufferable. That's the other thing with this Ben Pepino is like, how do people sit through this crap? I know I'm making fun of it and I'm like laughing at it because it's goofy. But if I were taking this seriously, this guy needs some, I mean, he's an entertainment industry guy. He wanted to write scripts at one point. Dude, you gotta, how do we make this entertaining, buddy? You gotta spice this up a little bit. Because I'm going sleepy a lot of times with you droning on. Actually, I was wrong. So this is his attempt at doing like memes and stuff. Here we go.
And some of the things that he says are so distorted and out of tune with reality, I had to call him on that.
Okay, I have a question. What if Dr. Fauci is not telling us the truth?
So in this video, he's misleading the elderly about the origins of the COVID-19, which, they love to hear, so he'll cough it up. Here we go.
It is highly unlikely that this was produced anywhere but the Wuhan Institute of Virology. It is highly likely that it was created through gain-of-function research.
Where did he get any of this? Like, he doesn't cite anything. Maybe because he's an expert on
female pleasure.
That he thinks he's a scientist or something. But I took the bait on this when some of these doofuses on YouTube started talking about this a couple months ago, and I wasted a large portion of my life looking at interviews with virologists, reading all these Nature articles, reading a ton of actual studies, just going through those scientists droning in those papers. And it's actually not that hard to understand. Both the possibility of this thing coming out of a lab and animal to human transmission are possible. Okay? They're both possible. You know why? Because there's not enough evidence for either. So if I had two cats, Roscoe and Chicken and Waffles is the other cat's name, and there's a dump on the floor, and I don't know, I'm like, either one of them could have done this. You know what I mean? It's kind of where we're at. And a lot of scientists have made they've used those exact words to explain it. And all of them, including this guy Fauci, have said, yeah, like investigate the lab, investigate everything. So I'm not sure. He's kind of like knocking on an open door a little bit here. And a lot of people who watch this guy probably watch a lot of like right-wing stupid crap like Pepino. They get an ad. They're like, well, I get most of my news from ads, so why not? So they think that this is confirmed. They're like, wow, there's a lot of mounting evidence that this came from a lab. There's not. Okay? So, but what is happening is that kind of like do-nothing scam artist politician like Rand Paul are using this to their advantage. And that's what Pepino's foaming his little slacks, his little Old Navy khakis about. So these clips are a day apart. The first clip is from July 21st. The second clip is from July 22nd. Just check this out.
We still don't know that this came from a lab leak. Right? It is very likely at this point that it came from a lab leak, but we still don't know. And we don't know exactly how that virus was developed. So a lot of this is speculative. It is highly unlikely that this was produced anywhere but the Wuhan Institute of Virology. It is highly likely that it was created through gain-of-function research.
So this dimwit in one day went from, this is speculative, we don't know, it's likely, this is speculative, to it's highly unlikely that it came from anywhere but the lab. Uh-oh, buddy. Uh-oh. Also, there's sort of a little bit of a problemo with this entire gain-of-function lab leak thing, especially the gain-of-function part. And I'll read this from the LA Times, and I'll put a link to the paper too. In addition, genetic tampering or editing will typically leave behind discernible marks. In a recent critical review of the origins of SARS-CoV-2, an international group, okay, not just here, round the world group of virologists notes that the virus, quote, carries no evidence of genetic markers one might expect from laboratory experiments.
It is highly likely that it was created through gain-of-function research.
Whoops. That doesn't sound good.
Female pleasure.
Are any of these viruses modified to bring
female pleasure?
That's gross, Ben. Don't. Come on. By the way, look at this thumbnail. It's Rand Paul, like one of the dumbest, like Rand Paul, I don't think, is capable of like working at a Lowe's. Like, I think if you were like interviewing Rand Paul like for a position of like moving mulch around or whatever people do at Lowe's, you would be like, nah, we're gonna pass, buddy. He's like, I'll work for free. It's good. We're good. But it's Rand Paul like boxing, and he's like knocking out this Fauci guy. And look, I don't know about the like anybody who gets to the position in government as Fauci, there's probably something off about them. But in this case, like with this pandemic stuff, there's really nothing. There's nothing.
It is highly likely that it was created through gain-of-function research.
So Benny Pepino, let me calculate this in my brain. Benny Pepino, a demented YouTuber or an international group of virologists who have devoted their entire lives to this crap, say that there's no indication that this was made in a lab. Oof, that's a tough one. I am stupid, though. I am a moron. So that has to factor in, too. So remember, we got some serious problemos in this country. Dysfunctional healthcare system, blah, 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 educational system that's a total disaster, all this crap. As usual, though, Benjamin Q. Pepinus is... Benjamin Q. Pepistino, Benjamin Q. Pepperoncini is covering the vital issues, which is, I'll read you the title of this YouTube video. Sports Illustrated puts transgender woman, and then in brackets, biological man, on cover. I mean, these are the things that really affect my day-to-day life. Remember like the knee thing, how I shout up my knees every morning? This is another one, because first of all, everyone reads magazines. Like, magazines are how people get most of their information, especially Sports Illustrated. Like, who's not a subscriber to multiple magazines, especially Sports Illustrated? I mean, you can't get that kind of information on like every podcast and all this crap online. You got to get it through a magazine.
You remember that time when Sports Illustrated was supposed to be a sports magazine? Yeah, that was funny. Sports Illustrated, I was a long-time subscriber to Sports Illustrated.
Sure enough.
I will acknowledge that as a religious person, I always took the option, you can do this, of calling up Sports Illustrated and not getting the swimsuit edition, which was, basically material for teenage boys.
I would have loved to have gotten that call. I work at Sports Illustrated. He's like,
can you please not send me those beautiful babes because I get too distracted and I need to fully focus on my insane YouTube program that the average viewer age is 120. I can't get distracted by those bodacious babes. They're simply too bodacious with their rockin' bods. I get too horned up by the
this is kind of like a cross between Ben Pepino and like an old Bill Cosby. Okay, we're not going to go there.
This is the trans woman whose name is Lena Bloom. Now, Lena Bloom has had surgeries and hormone treatment and looks physically like a woman, right? Which, by the way, seems rather transphobic to me, because if you truly, Sports Illustrated, wanted to make the case that trans women are women, then trans women shouldn't have to look like swimsuit models. In fact, trans women, this seems fatphobic to me. Trans women should actually look like Laurel Hubbard. Why isn't Laurel Hubbard on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition? The New Zealand weightlifter who's now going to be weightlifting in the Olympics and has more to do with sports than Lena Bloom.
This is a pretty woke take from Benny Pepitino. Why is just a woman who looks like this on Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue? Truly, another huge issue to tackle. I would mostly say who cares. I would say mostly who cares on that one. I literally don't know one person who subscribes to a magazine anymore. I think you kind of made up. I hate to tell you this again, okay, and this might mean another trip to IKEA to calm down, but I think you made up a thing to get your little tidy whities all in a little bunch about. Is it good that they put a trans woman on the cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue? Yeah, I would say it would default into the yes, that's a good thing category. But it's mostly who cares. I would say it's mostly who cares. But to defaults to, that's a good thing. So there we go. That's this week so far in our favorite investigative journalist / reporter and real job haver, Benny Pan Papadopoulos. Good luck to him, and let's alert his parents that maybe they need to step in at this point. And, Hey everybody, and thanks so much for watching this video. Like all the other YouTube and podcast perverts, I now have a Patreon. Every week on this Patreon, I'm uploading 2
Exclusive.
Patreon exclusive shows. They're like real shows, more produced, more edited.
A behind-the-scenes show where I reveal all my secrets, and a show where we go deep on an important topic that you will want to know about. Also, you get the daily and complete live show audio-only feeds. And at the top level, for only 25 bones, you can become a producer. These people that you're seeing right here make this program possible. Without them, nothing. It goes right in the toilet, right in the trash, and we set it on fire. It's these people who make it work. So please, for Christ's sake, become a patron. Bye-bye, love you.